India play a test match at Headingley after 19 years. Well, we've lined up a few interesting numbers here to talk to. Let's talk more about it at Time Out with Sports Adda. Hello, Arun. We are going to talk about the Headingley Test match today. And before we get to the present team, I want to get your thoughts on Headingley 2002. Very, very special Test match for us Indian cricket fans. Give me one memory from that Test match that has stayed with you after like 19 years.
It's that win, yes, it's the 300s, by the three legends. But I was just looking back at that series, Akhil. The 300s by those three, which is Dravid, Sachin, and Saurav Ganguly, actually happened in the previous test match. Nearly happened,
97,
Sachin, I think, was,
92.
yeah. I mean, you look back at those test matches, those twos, and you say, I mean, nearly, very nearly happened there, but fond memories of that test match, yeah.
Yeah, one memory that has always stayed, and I double checked this, was John Wright has written in his book where he was a coach at that time. And before the match, he told Dravid that 100 at this Headingley test match on the first day, if somebody gets 100, it will be a special one. And Dravid actually absorbed that and he went on to score one of the most memorable hundreds. I personally believe that this test match win, Arun, has started off the process where India starts to go and win outside India regularly. That's when these guys got the confidence. So amazing test match, yes. But okay, coming back to the present, India go into play at Headingley after 19 odd years. Surprising that such a big ground, a popular county like Yorkshire, they've not managed to get the Indian team to play a test match there for a while. Isn't it?
Let's look back. Let's briefly look back at what's happened, Akhil, before we jump into this team. The last three test matches, I hope the Indian team sees this particular, the results of the Indian team. This is what's happened. You spoke about it briefly. 2002, fabulous result for India, won by an innings in 46. Before that, in 1986, we won by 279 runs. 1979 drew under Venki. So three favorable results for India. I hope this Indian team will be feeling confident when they step onto the field. But the interesting thing, like you mentioned, is none of this Indian squad played a test match there. So
Hmm.
in a way, it's a new challenge for everybody. The entire Indian team will not know what to expect, and that's the thrill about test match cricket.
Absolutely, and from whatever we've seen, Arun, both the man of the match, men of the match in the last two test wins, if you've seen, is are Dilip Vengsarkar and Rahul Dravid, and these are two gentlemen like who used to score on difficult wickets. So in a way, having people on your side who can score on difficult wickets seems to have been working at Headingley. So yeah, this Indian team with the bowling attack that we have, I'm sure they'll go in confident into this test match now, 1-0 up.
You spoke about difficult players scoring in difficult situation, difficult condition. This team's got that character as well. We've got a Pujara, we've got a Rahane there. The openers have shown that they're ready to battle it out. So this team's got the capability. But I should say this is the most difficult conditions the Indian team will possibly encounter on this tour. Leeds, there's something about it. It's not, it's the climate, it's the weather, yes. The surface is different. It's not just about lateral. There's something about Headingley that makes Test cricket challenging.
Yes, and do you foresee any changes to the squad that played in the second test match? There's been a lengthy break, so Ishant Sharma would have had some rest. Shami would have had some rest after bowling like a lot. The other two are like a little younger, so Ishant and Shami definitely would have needed that rest also. Any changes you think? God, you think Ashwin might still get a look in?
Let's look at the lineup that took the field at Lords. Quick recap of who the 11 were. The openers, Rohit KL, Pujara, Virat Kohli, Rahane, Rishabh Pant. So that's kind of set in stone. I think that's not going to change. Jadeja comes in at next, then the four fast bowlers. No, I don't think there will be a change in that lineup. The reason I say this is two things. One, I looked at the weather forecast and it's cold. It's about 21, 20, 19. It's around that kind of a temperatures all day. And then the surfaces at Headingley normally assist the fast bowlers. Normally. And I'll give you a stat here. We look at the pace versus spin. But before we look at that, a trivia I want to throw in. Last time any visiting team spinner took a 5-4
Wow.
was way back in 1972. Okay, that's the reason I think there is not too much room for spinners.
Hmm. I mean, this is a very nice stat, but I mean, ultimately, Saurav Ganguly played two spinners in that test win. If you remember, he played Kumble and Harbhajan Singh both.
And Kumble got 4 in that test match, yes. But it would need a very brave captain to go against what you see up and what you see down.
Yeah, and this captain clearly likes space.
And I don't think there is a need to change that combination. I don't see a room for a second spinner. If you can look at the pace versus spin numbers, Akhil, that will tell you a story by itself.
Wow,
Look at the number of overs the Pacers have bowled as well. Nearly
it's almost
80%
three,
of the
four
overs.
times. Yeah.
Yeah, so nearly. I don't see a role for the second spinner. Of course, we'll be sitting way off. Quite a distance away from Headingley, but history tells you something. Uh, and unless things are drastically different on the ground, I don't see India changing their 11. At least the combination. I don't see playing two spinners.
Very interesting. These stats are very nice. I mean, England also, we spoke with Annie in our last show, and England are also searching for their combination. But because now you've these stats have been you've got out these stats, and the venue seems to be very favorable for seamers. So England also, you think, will should stick to the same lineup, right? Sam Curran will these condition will probably suit him the best from all the ground venues that England is going to play if it's so seamer friendly.
England have to change now. How that one forced change at the top? Obviously, one
Subli
opener will
goes
have to
out.
be replaced. Yeah. So if Hamid goes to the top, which I'm not sure about, what happens to the rest of the lineup? Does Ollie Pope come in? England are in a difficult situation. I mean, for all the noises they've been making that they've got a chance to bounce back. This is their chance, though. If they get the combination correct, if they get the batting correct, I think they can compete. It's a difficult one. Let's look at what England have done, in the last few Test matches at Headingley. It's not a venue where they've met with a lot of success. Look at since 2008. Look at the column on the right. 10 matches, they've won 4, but they've lost 5. Akhil. So it
Wow.
tells you that these conditions are so difficult that even England, the home team, actually struggle.
Very interesting. And so typically, Arun, then New England used to like their home conditions, where they used to have seaming wickets and they needed to go for like the regular English seamers to win test matches. But it looks like Headingley, they've not managed to turn that in. And then maybe it'll be a wicket that they'll throw in where they'll want to finish the match sooner. At least give their bowlers a chance to try and get into the Indian batting lineup. Anyways, their batting is not going to click, so might as well expect a very green kind of track again.
Quite possible. And that could also mean a very low scoring test match. We're not looking at 400 playing 450, 500. That's not going to happen. Look at the last few test matches. The average runs per wicket is hovering about 20, 22, which means you're looking at totals of about 220 to 30. So expect a low scoring test match. If I were in the Indian camp, sorry, you were saying something.
No, I was going to ask you if you're in the Indian camp, the one reassuring thing which has troubled all Indian captains for so many years, Arun, is the opening combination. Uh, Imagine an Indian team sitting so pretty on a opening combination which is settled, getting runs, playing out the new ball. It's a rare situation that the team management isn't, right? Otherwise, by now we would have already started to change which opener is going to come in, which opener is going to go out.
Absolutely right. And it's not small partnerships. It's not partnerships of 10 overs, 20 overs. Look at what they've done in the first innings. I don't know if you've got the numbers, but here they are. So first
Yeah.
test, look at the first innings. It's not the runs alone, but the time they occupied, 37 and a half overs. Second inning, second test match, first innings, 43 and nearly 44 overs. So it's not the runs alone, but the time. And those were difficult conditions, Akhil. Those were not, batting friendly conditions. Those two openers, Rohit Sharma
They
and KL
lost the
Rahul,
toss in the second test.
both test matches,
Yeah,
yes. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from. But the fact that they gutted it out, shot through those difficult conditions, that augurs well for the Indian team. I watched this brief chat, R. Ashwin put out. He does this YouTube video, and it was heartening to see Sridhar, the fielding coach, actually say both the openers have worked on their technique. It's not something that's happened overnight. It's not happened by fluke. I will take what they say on face value. To succeed at international cricket actually takes a lot of hard work, and those two gentlemen have done it. Put in the hard yards. They figured out what they need to tighten. And these are the results showing.
absolutely. Very heartening. And I mean, whenever India has openers who did well, they've won test matches quite regularly. This
Sanjay
has been
Banga, are you
phenomenal.
getting there?
I'm getting at Sanjay Bangar. I'm getting into the 2007 series, Arun, the one that we won. Dinesh
Muki
Karthik and
Vijay?
Wasim Jafar were extraordinary. I mean, nobody would have expected Dinesh Karthik to do well in England, but he got important 50s. He again stonewalled in the beginning to allow Tendulkar, Ganguly to get those important runs. So that contribution, even with somebody like a Murli Vijay in the 2014 Test match that we won, openers are very very critical for Indian Test batting.
It's another thing that the middle order hasn't quite capitalized, but you're
Hmm.
absolutely right. If the openers lay the platform, expect the middle order. You normally tend to expect the middle order to come good. Hopefully that happens. But here's what that stat also tells you. While we're looking about the Indian openers and waxing eloquent about them, it also tells you that James Anderson, we've spoken about him, high praise for what he's done, but the
Hmm.
wickets haven't come early on. Annie mentioned this in our chat the other day.
Hmm.
The first spell wickets aren't there. If you can look at what Anderson's done in the series, Akhil,
Hmm.
it tells you, look at the first wicket, look at the third column. In the
Hmm.
first match, first innings, when did he get his first wicket? Came in the 41st over.
Wow.
Second test match, first innings, the wicket came in the 44th over. Thereafter, he's obviously picked up a 4 wicket haul in the first test and a 5 wicket haul in the second test. But while this is what I mentioned about it, you need to look through stats to interpret them. On the
Yeah.
face of it, 9 wickets in the series, brilliant. But when did he pick up his wickets? And look at his second innings, the second test as well. Wicketless,
No test
27,
match. Yeah.
26 overs, wicketless.
These are the kind of stats that need to be discussed a lot more, Arun. And if I'm the England captain, usually I'm so used to getting that penetration, that aggression by an Anderson and Broad in the beginning, that maybe when you don't get that in the first 10 odd overs, and we as Indian cricket fans also, we are so used to having our openers getting dismissed in the first 10, 15 overs. These are the kind of stats which are very interesting. 40 overs, you make Jimmy Anderson wait for a wicket. He has to alter his plans. He has to move a little closer to the stumps, allowing you to score runs. So, these are beautiful nuances of Test cricket that we love to have a go at and have. I mean, we love to have observed this obviously, but this is such valuable information that if you don't give Anderson wickets early on, make him bowl. He's also not younger, so you're also tiring him by making him bowl a lot more for his wickets. So this is the beauty of Test cricket, isn't it?
Especially when playing at home, you expect Anderson to pick up one or two in that first spell. The Duke's ball, look up, look down, all of that. And he's done it. Over the years, he's done it. So credit to him. But which is why the Indian openers deserve a lot of credit for what they've done.
Yeah.
If I'm in an Indian camp, I'm also going to jump at one other stat, Akhil. Now, we talk about Joe Root, but this is, again, this is one venue where he's not done well. Let's look at Joe Root at home venues, Akhil. In venues where he's played 5 test matches or more. Look at what's happened. He averages only 36. He's got only 107 test matches, and that 100 came way, way back. So if I'm in the
Wow.
Indian camp, we've spoken about how England have lost more than they've won at Headingley. This tells you the same thing.
This is a
This
major
reinforces the
reason.
fact that the conditions are not easy.
I mean, Joe Root eventually, whatever they say about law of averages, maybe law of averages are going to catch up with him at this ground where he anyways has not had like a record as comparable to the other venues. So, I mean, he's been such a vital cog, Arun. He's literally holding this team together. So, if India find a way to dislodge him early, then the rest of the lineup will be under even more pressure. So, from whatever I'm looking at your stats, from the kind of numbers that are being thrown up with the seamers and with the kind of the pacers that we have, I looks like this will be a short test match. Shorter test match, won't last 5 days.
No, 4-day test match is my bet without having seen the pitch yet. But just the numbers tell you the fact. It's
Mm.
Joe Root doesn't get run, they tell you that conditions are difficult. It's a simple interpretation.
It's a very simple interpretation. They will try and get the Dan Lawrence or somebody there, somebody else to try and put the pressure back on Indian bowlers, but it's not easy. It's not easy having a relentless Bumrah, Shami, Ishan. This pace attack is serious, and on conditions where it will be helpful for them, they are except for Anderson, the other England bowlers are not as experienced also as these seamers that we have. So it's a tricky one for the England camp. uh, should we talk about that one point, Arun, where we mentioned about the impact players in low scoring games? We spoke about Vengsarkar, we spoke about Dravid there. You've actually spotted a gentleman in the Indian batting lineup also, right? Who has a record of where he's outshone most of his contemporaries in that similar role, Rishabh Pant. You think he has an impact?
What I've done, Akhil, is I'm not going to compare Rishabh Pant with wicket keepers around the world. That's a far simpler way of doing it. What I've done is I've looked at what Rishabh Pant's done in Test matches and what his opposite number, meaning the wicket keeper in India's opposition team, what they've done, over all these years.
Sure,
So
sure.
Rishabh Pant is played, I think, 38 innings, 23 Test matches, if I recall correctly. Look at what he's done. So he as a wicket keeper, he's got 1487 runs, averaging 43, 300s and 650s. The wicket keeper in the opposition, take
Yeah.
all their aggregates, take all their performances together. They've batted more than Rishabh Pant has, but they've scored half the runs.
Wow.
And look at not a single hundred, 250s only. So we're talking about some really proper names here. Let me read out the wicketkeeper in India's opposition. There was
Yeah.
Johnny Bairstow, Josh Butler, Shane Dowrich, Ben Foakes, Shea Hope, Tim Payne, and Bradley Watling. Now at least a couple of them, or two, three of them are proper batsmen.
One is an
Watling
Australian
is a
captain.
solid. Say again.
One
Australian
is an
captain
Australian.
included.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So these numbers tell you that we don't give credit, we don't recognize what Rishabh Pant does. I think this is just another stat that reinforces the fact that he is a gun wicketkeeper batsman. His wicket keeping's improved. We've seen that in the last couple of Test matches,
Yeah.
but we need to look at his batting as well. Now, at a time when wicketkeeper batsmen are struggling for runs, this guy stands out. Absolutely stands out.
It's a phenomenal one, and you're right. We've not spoken too much about it. There's a lot of talk about Virat Kohli scoring his next 100, etc., etc. But just the fear that Rishabh Pant, whenever he's coming into bat, the commentators are getting excited. You saw when he came into bat in the first inning, last in the second Test match, the fielders started going outside. The entire
Hmm.
strategy started changing because if this guy would have got 20, 25 runs at that stage, the match would
Hmm.
have completely shifted. So he's putting that fear into bowlers, into the captain, even in difficult batting situations. So he's definitely ace that the Indian team has, and batting at number six, changing the game. Uh, I think if he spends again, like we mentioned, if it's a difficult track, 1.5, 2 hours of Rishabh Pant there at the crease, and the captain is going to have a problem. The opposing captain, not Virat Kohli.
I'll take 1 hour. Forget 1.5, 2 hours. I'll take 1 hour. 1 hour of Rishabh Pant. The normal Rishabh Pant is enough. Will have caused plenty of damage.
Okay, so I'm going to put you under like the hammer here. I'm going to say, okay, India favorites again. I read from whatever we've spoken now. Favorites for me also. You have to now tell us how many days this match is going to last. Whether you think it will last three. You're going with 4 days. Okay. I'm saying 3.5, 3.5 for me. So we'll see which of one gets its closer. But the England Cricket Board will want it to go 5 days. We are saying 4 days. I'm saying 3.5 days. So we'll see, and we'll talk a lot more about here about the Test match at Timeout with Sports Adda. As usual, great fun talking to you, Arun. We'll be back soon.